this episode, I'm going to have a bit of a creative identity crisis. Then we're going to reflect on 2025, the year that was, and then we're going to go over our 2026 goals, create a vision board. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then this is the video for you because I'm going to be oversharing to the extreme. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to sit down, catch up, and I wanted to talk about the future of this channel because around this time of year, I get so sentimental and inspired and motivated and creative. And so I just wanted to sit down and do a little bit. And by sit down, I mean stand up because I'm standing right now. Anywho, I just wanted to talk because I am shifting gears a little bit with this channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jordan. And up until now, this channel has been the video companion to my podcast, Yap Trap. And I've decided to treat those podcast episodes. I did about 27 episodes. That is going to be a season 1. So those episodes were about pop culture, influencer drama, celebrity scandal, TV shows, movies, books, and I still love all of those topics. However, we are now kind of moving into a bit of a rebirth, a bit of a lane change, and I'm super excited about it. When I first started Yap Trap the podcast, I really was just looking for a creative outlet. I actually work full-time in HR. However, I love entertaining people. I love pop culture. I love creating, and I loved the whole process, writing episode notes, recording, editing, learning new skills. It really all pushed me out of my comfort zone in the best way imaginable. And I really feel like I climbed Cringe Mountain because I went full in on this podcast. I was posting reels and TikToks promoting this podcast, and definitely everyone that I went to high school with has already seen it. So I really feel like I just ripped that band-aid straight off. So I'm like over that stage. But over time, I realized with the podcast that I was building, I had boxed myself into a format that didn't really fit me and what I wanted to create. I feel like I was inspired by my favorite podcast, which is Shameless Podcast. If you're familiar, it is a pop culture podcast by 2 Aussie girls, and they're incredible. And that is my favorite podcast. And I think I just wanted to emulate what they had created because I adored listening to it so much that I wanted to create that for myself, and I realized over time that I don't have the time nor the resources nor the facilities to do that. And also that's not me. That is them and they create an incredible podcast, but that is just not me. I don't have the time or the resources to do 2 highly produced episodes a week, which became 1 deep dive episode a week. And the pressure that I was putting on myself did start to lead to a bit of burnout, especially on top of my 9-to-5 job. And also the fact that I did begin to cover topics that I wasn't necessarily interested in or that passionate about. Like I said, I love pop culture. I love entertainment. But when you're pumping out an hour-long episode every single week and you're a one-woman operation, I was just constantly on social media looking for topics that I could cover in the podcast, and it started to become more of a chore. And even though I love podcasts as a medium, doing this podcast every single week, it was challenging. And I really adored the YouTube side of things. Like I really found a lot of passion in doing that. And I think doing the episodes on YouTube has set me down this path, and I'm so grateful for that. But writing 15-page episode scripts, recording hour and a half long episodes, editing both audio and video every week, uploading to multiple channels, clipping that, it became very exhausting. At the same time, I've always wanted to create content. I've got this craving to entertain and to tell stories and provide commentary on things that I'm passionate about, but I also love lifestyle content. And I love talking about myself. Like if I'm being completely honest, like I actually love talking about myself. And I think that's why I'm drawn to lifestyle content. I love watching it and I love making. I even considered starting a second channel just for lifestyle content and then keeping this podcast as is. However, as I've said now multiple times, I work full time and that is just not feasible. And I was already spreading myself too thin. So it just wasn't possible. So I started asking myself, how can I create in a way that feels fulfilling, something that lets me explore everything that I'm passionate about, pop culture, deep dives, books, TV shows, but also life stuff like my wedding, my routines, recipes, health and fitness, random obsessions, all of it. And I've never been great at niching down, quite frankly, because I get bored very easily. And honestly, why cram myself into a tiny box? I just want to make things that I enjoy, tell stories, share what I'm curious about. And if people want to come along for the ride, then that's a bonus. And thank you so much. Welcome. It's going to be great. And that is where Jordan is Obsessed comes in, the new name of the channel. It's actually an account that I already had the handle of. I created this account about a year ago when I convinced myself I was going to blow up on Instagram Reels. It was a whole thing. I had a whole separate account. I was going to do, like day in the life Instagram Reels. And the name stuck. And I've always really liked that name. I feel like it's more so encapsulated all of the things that I want to create when it comes to content. And it's exactly what the name sounds like, a space for my current obsessions without feeling caged in. So what can you expect from this channel now? This is evolving into a place where I share about the things that I'm obsessed with in the moment, pop culture, books, internet rabbit holes, life updates, deep dives when the inspiration hits. This isn't a news channel. It's more of a cozy, curious space for thoughtful stories, nostalgia, and more personality-driven commentary as I figure things out along the way. So you'll still see pop culture deep dives. For example, I am currently planning to do a video on Bridgerton season 4. So do not worry, there will still be, if you are coming from that content, there will still be that content on this channel. But in between those, I'll be sharing things like my upcoming birthday celebrations, party planning, wedding updates. I'm going to be doing like monthly reset videos, I think, and bits of my everyday life, but like with my own creative spin on it. So if you're into warm vibes, storytelling, and following along with someone who gets obsessed with about 15 different things at once, then you're absolutely in the right place. Welcome. This is a safe space for you, babes. I'm really, really excited for this next chapter, and I'm so glad you're here with me. So I thought a great way to kind of kick things off is to do a bit of a New Year reset. I love watching these videos so much. I'm a big believer in setting intentions and goals for the new year. I love watching these videos, especially at the start of the year. They make me feel so inspired and motivated. And last year, I actually got a little carried away with the goal setting. Like I had an incredible 2024. 2024 was the best year of my life. So when it came into 2025, I was like, let's keep these good vibes going. And I just got completely carried away with my goal setting, and it just was not the year that I anticipated. But that's okay. I got carried away. I burnt out. So this year I wanted to do more vibe-based goals rather than specific goals. So I thought, let's go through my goals last year and reflect, and I'll show you my vision board from last year, and I'll show you how I'm setting up my goals for this year and creating this year's vision board. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm just going to pull up my 2025 goals. I like to choose a word of the year. I started doing this a few years ago, and my word of the year last year was fulfillment, because I feel like I'd set up so many things in my life. However, I wasn't really living life. I was more so just kind of ticking boxes. So I set the word fulfillment because I really wanted to have fulfillment in my work, fulfillment in my hobbies, fulfillment in my health and wellness. And I think that word does suit last year, but yeah, I do want to bring that into this year as well. These are how I set up my goals last year. Kind of crazy, but oh well. So I broke them down into different buckets. So the first bucket that I want to go through is the health and fitness bucket. So my first goal was that I have run a sub 2 hour half marathon. This did not happen, and this was one of the main goals that led to my burnout, because I was literally running myself ragged doing half marathon training. So yeah, that definitely fell to pieces by about April. I realized, I was like, I cannot do this. My feet are so sore. I'm starving all the time. I'm exhausted. My muscles are aching. I just cannot do this. So that did not happen. I also put the goal, I run 3 times per week, kind of to coincide with the whole marathon thing. When that all fell apart, the running, I did still run regularly, but definitely not 3 times a week. And I don't even know why I put that as a goal, but lesson learned. I go to 1 medical appointment per month. Now, this is because I really dread medical appointments and I put medical appointments off. Things like I really needed to go to the physio for a long time. Last year when I was doing all my running, I really needed to go to the podiatrist, psychologist. So I set that as my goal. I started off really strong and then I kind of fell off a little bit, but I do think that's a really good goal. My final goal was I have healed my relationship with food and I eat healthily and intuitively. I have put this as yellow because I do feel as though I have improved this, but I wouldn't say it's entirely resolved. And I think that's a good goal to have. We'll go to the next category, and that is wedding. So I got engaged the 18th of December, 2024. So going into my goal setting for 2025, I was so wedding minded. I was in that engagement bubble and I was so excited about the wedding. I was consuming so much wedding content. So I had a lot of goals around the wedding. And I did achieve most of those. So, booked the venue of our dreams. Absolutely. I'm so excited for our venue. Booked catering and drinks package. Yes. Ordered a wedding dress for under $800. No, that did not happen. I don't know what I was actually thinking. In what world was I going to get a wedding dress for under $800? I think I thought I was going to get something secondhand, and it's a nice thought. And if that's your journey, then I love that. There are so many gorgeous secondhand wedding dresses out there, but even a lot of the secondhand wedding dresses are well over $1,000. And in the sake of oversharing, I've got nothing to hide. My wedding dress was $2,000 that I have. I literally just picked it up a week ago. I still need to get it altered though. So $2,000 without the cost of alterations. So didn't really achieve that goal, but oh well. I love my wedding dress though, so I'm not mad about it. Organized accommodation for the wedding, yes. Booked a celebrant and MC, yes. Booked a DJ, booked florals, yes. So wedding planning is going well, 4.5 months out, and we are going well. So in terms of my career, I have been appointed to a higher level position on a permanent basis. Unfortunately, I did not achieve this goal. I was so fortunate to get the opportunity to have a promotion on a temporary basis. That was because someone went on maternity leave, so a position became vacant. However, that is only on a temporary basis. So obviously when that person comes back from maternity leave, that is their position. So I didn't achieve that goal, but I'm still proud of what I have achieved in terms of my career. I am satisfied and fulfilled by my job. And I would say that I did achieve that. I struggled with that in 2024. However, with this promotion, albeit it's on a temporary basis, it brought me a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction. And then I have great work-life balance. So I also would say that was a yes, very, very lucky with my role to have great work-life balance. Home. Okay, so my goals for the home, I'm not the most home motivated person. I just I'm we moved into this house in January 2023 and I had all of these ambitions, and anyway, we have painted our home. No, we said we're going to do that since the start of 2023. It still hasn't happened. Who knows, maybe this year. We have storage for our home. Our home has no built-in wardrobes. No built-in wardrobes. It's actually if I can tell you guys something, if you are in the housing market and I can give you one non-negotiable for your home, have built-in wardrobes. I cannot tell you, we have nowhere to put anything. We literally have a room of just junk. You cannot put things away. We have a barn door for our bathroom sliding door. So I had a vision for our bathroom. I'll insert a picture here. Hasn't happened either. I live in a clean and tidy home. I would say that's true. So I've always been a clean and tidy person, but I just wanted to kind of increase my standard of clean. And I do feel as though I've done that. I've got really good cleaning routines. We have a new bed and mattress, and yes, we do. So our previous bed was about 10 years old and it was disgusting probably. Anyway, so we purchased a new king bed and king mattress, and I just love it so much. Relationships. I have a date night with Trent once a month, and this one is green. This is something that my fiance and I introduced back in 2024, and that is to do one date night a month, and it is just something that I look forward to every single month. It is so fun to have a designated date night, and we do activities that we would never otherwise do, and it's been so enjoyable to explore things in our own city that we wouldn't otherwise do. And we take turns planning it. So one month he plans it, the next month I plan it. Sometimes it's a surprise, sometimes it's not. And it's just so much fun. I have been on holidays with Casey and Alana. Those are my best friends. And we did go on a holiday. We actually went on a cruise and oh my God, it was so much fun. I have been on a weekend getaway with Sarah and Cameron. This is my other best friend and her husband. Unfortunately, this didn't happen, but there's always this year. And then I see Alana and Casey once a week. I put that as yellow because we tried, but sometimes life gets in the way and we didn't always get to see each other. The next pillar is finance. So I wrote down that I have achieved my personal savings goal. Very proud to say that I did do that. With the wedding coming up in 2026, we really had to save a lot of money because weddings are so expensive. And I was really scared that we weren't going to be able to save enough money. It's been really good, but we have achieved that. And Trent and I have achieved our joint savings goal as well. And that is in our offset account. Again, that is for the wedding. And we were able to do that as well. I have a second source of income. Now that has not happened. I keep thinking that if I keep hustling with the podcast or content creation, it will become a second source of income. That is yet to happen, but one day we'll get there. Track finances. So I tracked my finances for the first half of the year. I got so into it. I was tracking every dollar I was spending, and then I got a bit behind on it and I just got so overwhelmed because I was once I was behind, I was like, this is too much to try and get back on track. And yeah, I stuffed it. So I put that as yellow because I did it for about half the year and then I fell off. I also put start investing. This was something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but was really intimidating. And I did a lot of research about this time last year and I did start investing and I'm very proud of that. And I invested $2,400 in the stock market, which I did. So yeah, really proud of that. And the final bucket that I had is personal goals and hobbies. I have read 75 books. I did not achieve this. I read 72 books in 2024. So I thought 75 books in 2025, easy. No, it wasn't easy. I really had a challenging year with books. I just uploaded my best books and worst books of 2025 videos if you wanted to check those out. But yeah, I had a really challenging reading year. And I think I started to, even though no one was holding me to this goal aside from myself, but I put so much pressure on myself that I started trying to read so many books and I got really overwhelmed and I just couldn't find books that I was enjoying. And no, I didn't do that. I have clear skin. Unfortunately not. I still struggle with acne. I'm still learning every day new ways that I can treat my skin. And it's a journey. I would say my skin is a lot better than it was this time last year. It's definitely calmed down a lot. And I think a lot of that has been I've been making certain changes in my diet because I've noticed things that I eat and drink that trigger my skin, but still on a journey. I have a podcast that I feel passionate about. So I did mark this as green, even though I just said that, I'm shifting gears with the podcast. I still did it. And I'm really proud of that because at the start of last year, I did not have a podcast. By the end, I did. So I marked that. I have written a book. I really would love to write a book. It is my dream to write a book. I used to write on Wattpad when I was a teenager. If you don't know what Wattpad is, it is basically a website where you can publish your own writing on there. I used to write fan fiction on there as a teenager. Yeah, anyway. And so I've always wanted to write. I love reading. I would love to write a book. And I marked this as yellow because I did actually write a decent chunk of a book just for fun. I don't think it will ever see the light of day. But yeah, I wrote about maybe 70,000 words. But yeah, it ebbs and flows. Like I said, I would be so into it for 3 weeks. I would write so much and then I would get so sick of it. I just didn't touch it. So yeah, anyway, so those were my 2025 goals. So yeah, overall we can kind of see with the color coding how many I achieved and how many I didn't. I think that I had really, really good intentions in 2025. It just wasn't in the right spot. So let's have a look at my 2025 vision board. So this was my vision board. I actually love this vision board so much. It's so pretty. And I set this vision board as the screensaver on my laptop and I just loved looking at it. So these photos in the top left, this was more so around my engagement party and we had a something blue theme for the engagement party. And I will say this literally looked exactly like the engagement party. Again, I'll insert some photos, but like this came so true. Wedding dress, that was more so like trying on my wedding dress, getting the wedding dress on my dreams, which happened. Getting our wedding venue. Our wedding venue looks nothing like this at all, but we did still get a wedding venue. And then this was more so around, tracking finances and investing. I put an affirmation there, I am so rich and wealthy. And down here I have more of like the social element. So I put this in because this was kind of a manifestation of going on holidays with my friends, and this looks literally like when we went on the cruise. So I love that. And just making memories. I really wanted to make more memories. And then over here we have more of my health and fitness. So I really wanted to eat better, finish a half marathon, which I didn't, and run. But yeah, that was my vision board for 2025. Let's get into 2026. So I know I just said that I kind of went a little too hard and fast in the year 2025. However, I think I've gone and done the same thing for 2026. I just can't help myself. So I actually downloaded this template from CoPlenty. It is a goal and habit tracker. I actually got it from Smiley Citrus, who is another lifestyle creator, and she uses this to track her goals, and it just looks so satisfying, and I love that satisfaction of ticking things off. So I downloaded it. So this looks a lot better than my rinky-dink Excel spreadsheet that we were just previously looking at. But yeah, these are my goals for 2026. Again, they are broken down into separate categories. So let's just get into it, and then I'm going to show you my vision board for 2026. So personal goals is date night once a month. Love it. Continuing those vibes. Feel beautiful on my wedding day. Now, I have already fallen down the whole like wedge shred rabbit hole and like, doing all of these things to be in shape for the wedding. And I realized like no goal I set is going to make me feel happy. So I've just put the goal, I just want to feel beautiful, rather than having like a certain goal. Plan our Italy honeymoon. Of course, we're going to Italy for the honeymoon. Improve our home. So as you can see, these goals are a lot looser. Like I know the whole methodology of the SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound. However, I feel like I actually found that to be quite constraining. So I've tried to be actually a lot more vibey with my goals for this year. Improve our home. Read 7 5-star books. Now, as I said, last year I got really overwhelmed with my reading goal. So this year I actually wanted to do something that was more, I just want to enjoy the books that I'm reading. I want to read good books rather than just picking up a book for the sake of reading X amount of books per month to reach my reading goal. I just want to read really good books. So I think 7 5-star books is reasonable. Host 4 events at home. I love hosting. I would love to do more of it in 2026. Me and my fiance, we just hosted an Italian themed New Year's Eve party where we put on a massive spread for everyone, and it was so enjoyable. Like we just love it. So we just want to host more in our home and cook for our friends and family. Focus on presence and making memories. So that brings me to my word of the year for 2026, and that is presence. I really want to be more present because I am so, it is so easy for me to live in the future or live in the past. I just really want to be present. Now, this goal is a goal that I'm actually really excited about, and that is have a clear personal style. I have really been struggling over the last few years to identify what my personal style is. I went through a stage where, when I was younger, I wore a lot of colors, a lot of pastels. Then I started to veer more towards stripy and grungy because that was, back in 2014, that was the vibe. So I kind of went down that angle, and then I just kind of wore, then I worked in retail. So I actually used to work at the store Uniqlo. So I used to just wear Uniqlo all the time because I worked there, and I got a discount on the clothes. So I just wore Uniqlo all the time. And then I started working a corporate job. So then I just wore black and white all the time, mainly black. I just wore black constantly. And now I just want to rediscover my personal style, and I'm so excited for that. So my wellness goals. So I know what you're thinking. I have run a half marathon. I know. This time it's not time bound. Last year I said I want to run a sub 2-hour half marathon. I think that's what was killing me in the training, was trying to get my time down. Whereas this time it's just finish it. I just want to finish it. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if I have to walk. I don't care if I can't train properly because I've got a wedding and a honeymoon and life gets in the way. I just want to finish it, and I think I can do it. Go to medical and health appointments. So this year I'd love to go to a naturopath. I really want to go to a naturopath for my skin. So yeah, that's something I want to do this year. Prioritize breathing and stretching. As I get older, older and my bones become more rickety, I realize how important stretching is and how important posture and breath is, because I get such sore muscles from hunching over and not stretching and breathing properly. Complete the 75 soft challenge. Now, this is something that I am going to do before the wedding, just as like a bit of a motivational kick, like nothing too crazy, but I do want to do a bit of a 75 soft challenge just to motivate myself in the lead up to the wedding. So that will start at the end of February. I want to walk 10,000 steps a day. I'm already fairly active, so this is really not like that crazy of a goal. Like I go for a lot of walks. I, work in the office as well. I naturally get a lot of steps when I do that. Continue to improve at the gym. So again, I'm not putting like a strict goal of like work out X many times per week and do this and do that. I just want to feel improvement. In the past year, I've felt a lot of improvement from how I was this time last year. So I just want to continue improving. Eat healthy and clean foods. Now, again, as I said, with my whole skin journey, I have learned a lot more about foods that are triggering my skin. And yeah, I just want to really eat more whole foods. Like last year, I was really in my sugar-free phase. Like I was like obsessed with sugar-free foods. And now I'm much more in my like clean foods and my whole foods era, because I just want clear skin, to be honest. Okay. And then we have financial goals. So again, and I'm not hiding anything here. I am sharing because I don't really care. I'm oversharing. I would like to earn $150,000. How am I going to do that? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll win the lotto. Maybe I'll win some money. But I just like to put that goal there just as a bit of a stretch goal, a bit of fun. I'd like to have $30,000 in my mortgage offset account. I think that's very feasible if we just kind of keep putting money aside, especially after the wedding. $15,000 in an emergency fund account. Now, this is only something I started doing last year, and that was putting money specifically towards an emergency fund. I think it's so important to have an emergency fund. And I think having $15,000 in that kind of fund set aside is a really good starting point. Pay off my help debt. Guys, this is definitely going to happen. If you don't know what a help debt is, that is basically my student loans. I'm getting so close to paying it off. I will definitely be able to pay it off this year. Even though it's a given that I'm going to pay it off this year with the balance that I have left, I still wanted to list it here because obviously this debt has been following me around since 2015, and I'm really proud to get rid of this debt. So that's going to be really exciting. I have $5,000 invested, just kind of doubling what I had from last year and tracking my finances again. So then when it comes to career, I have a permanent appointed position that is a promotion. So as I said, I have been so fortunate to be given the opportunity to do a higher role on a temporary basis. I would love to get that role on a permanent basis. So either, exploring other career opportunities, or who knows what could happen. But yeah, I'd really love to get a promotion at work. And I think that's definitely achievable. I've got the goal, feel satisfied and fulfilled at work here again, because I think that's so important. I've had jobs where I've been stressed out of my mind, so stressed that I can barely think straight. And then I've had jobs where I'm so bored that the days crawl by. And I feel like what I want now, I've been working a corporate job for however long I've been working a corporate job. I just want fulfillment and satisfaction. I want to feel like my time at work is not a waste. I want to go into work. I want to feel satisfied and fulfilled. That is very important to me. And then of course, but alongside that, maintain great work-life balance. Because for me, I do work to live. I don't live to work. I work so that I can support my lifestyle. I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel satisfied. I'm a hard worker. At the end of the day, work-life balance is very important to me. Make new connections. Now, I really want to try and meet new people at work, put myself out there, act in a leadership capacity. Again, this goal is quite open-ended. So does that mean that I'm leading more meetings? Does that mean I'm taking a temporary opportunity to lead a team? I'm not sure, but I really would love that challenge to act in a leadership capacity. Only temporary. I definitely don't want a managerial role or anything like that, but I would love that opportunity. And then we have other. So this is just random goals. They don't really fit into this. I would say these are more my creative goals. So 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So subscribe. I think it's possible. Right now we're sitting at around 100. So just times that by 10. I think we can do it. Enjoy making content. So as I said last year, I did get to a point where it was more of a chore. I just really want to enjoy it. I do love it. I've always loved it. I've always had a fascination with it. So I think we can keep those good vibes going. Upload twice a month. I definitely think that's feasible. I'd love to upload more than that, but I'm just saying twice a month because I'm getting married this year. I'm going to Europe. Life can get busy. So those are my goals for 2026. So I sat down and did my goals first. And then based on those goals, I then created my vision board. And again, I'm so proud of this vision board. I love it so much. So on the left-hand side, we kind of have the wellness items. So at the top, I've kind of got, a really delicious looking plate of clean foods. I've got stretching. As I said, I really want to stretch and breathe more. And then I've got the running as well because I want to run a half marathon, but not in like a pressured way. The girl sitting in the sunset is really to represent the joy of being. And that's why I've got that quote there as well, being more present. And then of course we have the books as well. I just really want to read good books this year. I don't care how many, how little, how many, I just want to read good books. And then around here we have more hosting. So I would love to host more, as I said. Over here on the top right, that is a photo of someone in a white dress drinking champagne, and that is to represent my hens party. As I said, I'm getting married this year, so I just really want to have a really, really fun hens party. And then of course, I have some photos from Italy as well because that is where I'm going for my honeymoon. So I want to have a wonderful time in Italy. And then of course, I've got some photos of a bride and groom and a bride and her bridesmaids because I just want to have a really wonderful, amazing wedding, marrying the love of my life. And then of course, we've got a laptop with a like YouTube editing software on there as well because, this is something I'm really excited about. So I'd love to pursue it. And then as well, this is more so in the workplace. I just want to be, I want to act in a leadership capacity. I want to run meetings. I love running meetings, strategy, that sort of stuff lights me up. So that is my vision board for 2026. Super proud of it. I've already made it my screensaver and my lock screen. And so anyway, that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely so different. So please like and subscribe and let me know down below what you think of this video format, if you like it. Also, I would love to know down below as well what your goals are for 2026. I love hearing people's goals. I truly love it so much. So let me know down below what is your biggest goal for 2026. Anyway, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.